Hello and welcome back to another speed build video. My name's Jess and today I'm building in Willow Creek on a 30 by 20 lot, and today's build is a part of the Simmered save file. This is part 2 of the Foundry corner. So in the Foundry corner there is going to be 2 different shops, and as you can see we've started on the cafe level and then up above is the plant shop level. So I actually asked for ideas in my last video of shops or things that you might want to see in the second level of this build, and I got a comment saying that a plant shop would be really cool, and I agree. So I'm really happy to have added that into this build, and you'll see a little later. I really like the 2 styles that I went with for each of these builds. So we're starting off in the cafe section. Oh, so also if you are curious to see the actual building itself being built, that was in my last video, so you can check that out. I will try and remember to leave a link below. But we are working all on the interiors today, so hopefully you'll get a pretty good idea of what the exterior ended up looking like. But here you can see this is just me working on the cafe section of this build. So what I wanted to make sure with this build is that it would work as a restaurant or a cafe. So I do have everything you'll need for a restaurant and a cafe, obviously, and it will function either way that you would like it to. So I'm really happy about that, and I really love that this lot is multifunctional. And it is the first lot in my Simmered save file that is a commercial lot, so just kind of cool to be able to build with this commercial style and do a build that wasn't just a residential home, not have to do any bedrooms today, just kind of a nice change of pace for me. So here you can see I'm just doing a lot of looking in, trying to find things that make this really look like a little bit of a cafe. And have just all the little details. So like that bread object, which is from base game debug, live edit, actually debug. It's one of those two. That basket is from Jungle Adventure debug. So together, I just think it looks like it's a little bit of like some fresh pastries that you could maybe buy from this little cafe. And now I really wanted this build to be really homey and feel just really cozy and somewhere where your Sims would want to be and hang out. So I wanted there to be kind of just a living room type area where your Sims could drink their coffee, eat their scones, that kind of vibe. And so I really wanted to add in a fireplace as well. So I was able to just squish everything in, and I'm so happy with just how cozy this little corner looks. And I really wanted to keep some of that blue color throughout the build, but I have to say, finding things in the style that I wanted them to be, that were more of a pale blue, was kind of difficult. So you'll see I use different tones of blue throughout the build, but I really like how it all ended up coming together. I really wanted this to, of course, look kind of like it would fit into a New Orleans style because this is Willow Creek and I am building it for the save file, so I really want it to feel like it really fits into the world. So in order to do that, I went for this little bit of a darker motif. Then on the outside was a lot more like white and bright, but I thought having the interior be a little bit darker would just be a nice little change of pace. So here you can see I'm just adding in some of the final details and adding in just a few windows. I will say the windows on the exterior, they're spaced kind of funky. There wasn't a whole lot I could do to make them as symmetrical as I'd like them to be, but luckily you don't really look at the sides of a build too much. So hopefully that won't bother you too much. It definitely, I did my best to change it up, but I just needed windows to go in certain sections of the build based on the interior. And so, they don't totally match as well as I would like, but sometimes that's just The Sims, that's just building in The Sims. But here you can see we're working on the kitchen. So again, if you want to use this as a restaurant, I wanted to make sure there was a kitchen, and I feel like it's always good to have a kitchen if you want to do like a wedding or a birthday so your sim can make a cake. But I really like how that kitchen came together. It was kind of an afterthought to make this a restaurant as well. So making just a really cute little kitchen was, I think, a nice addition to this build, and I really enjoyed building it. I tried to make it look a bit commercial, so I just had those like plates and cups on the top, just because I figure that's most of what you're going to be using at a restaurant. But you can see we quickly did the bathroom, and I did fit in the changing table that we got with Growing Together. So I didn't make this completely kid-friendly. There wasn't a lot of space, but I did add a toy box on the outside of the build, and you'll see that in just a little bit. But I wanted to make sure if you did have kids here, they could use the bathroom. So I went ahead and used that object, which is so cool, and I actually didn't realize we had it, and I just did a rec center build. And I used the normal changing table thinking that we didn't have any other options. So now I know there's one that's like really perfect for commercial spaces. So it works well in this build since it's a commercial build. So you could see there I'm doing the break room, employee break room. I feel like it's always nice for gameplay to have a space where your Sims can sleep if you are doing a restaurant or a retail store. So I wanted to be sure to add that in. So of course we used the Murphy bed, the wonderful object that makes sure we can fit a bed into small spaces. Very glad we had that. And I really like how that little break room turned out. I think it has everything your Sim might need to kind of exist in this place if you do want to have them stay overnight. And you can see now we've moved on to the dining room area. So in the dining room area, you can see I went for a more eclectic kind of vibe, and I really wanted to use a lot of different prints and paintings on the wall just to have a really interesting sort of, like I said, eclectic vibe. I wanted it to feel like there was a lot of history in this space. So I thought adding that in would be a nice little element. So here you can see I'm working on the bottom of the plant shop little area. And for this area, I just wanted to bring in some elements that would imply that there was a plant shop on the upstairs. So I really like that. And I used the little rug from Pastel Pop Kit, and I thought that was just a perfect little addition to have some flowers there, but still bring in the blue coloring. And over there, I wanted to be sure there was a dumpster on this lot, and I didn't really leave enough space for it, so I just added it in over in the back there. And I wanted to make sure I had that because, of course, if you're doing rags to riches, I personally, that's how, when I do play the game, I almost always do rags to riches. And I use the dumpster a lot. So I always want to make sure to add it into different lots. So especially in commercial lots like this, so you can go there and find some different items. So you could see I worked on the storage room just a little bit, and I just put a few different pieces that I thought made it look like it had all the different supplies that the restaurant or cafe needs to function. And I really like how that little room came together. And here you can see I'm working on adding in a pergola, and I wanted to have this little area for a little movie room. I just thought this space over here, I could just fill it up with tables and chairs, but I thought I could use it for something a little different. So I thought adding in a little movie night element to this cafe would be really fun as like a family activity to come here and have a little movie night. So yeah, I just thought that was a cute little addition. So then you can do like dinner and a movie, which is pretty classic. So here you can see I'm just adding in the last few details to the exterior section. I, of course, wanted to add in some plants on these little benches, which I love those benches. They're from high school years, and they just fit really perfectly with the colors that I ended up using. And over here, we are going to start putting in some lights all around the build. These lights are from Little Camper's kit, and I really wanted to use them just to brighten up the space. And I don't think I got a clip of how it looks at night, but it looks really, really beautiful. So I'm glad I added it in. And I did do some of it off camera, so you didn't have to see me place everything. But trust me, it has a really cool effect, and I was very happy with how it turned out. But we are on to the upper floor. So for the upper floor, I went ahead and started off in the bathroom, and I kept it in the same style as the bathroom down below, but you'll see everything's a little bit more updated on this level. It's just kind of more modern, a little bit of like a pop art kind of feel, I guess, using like a lot of different elements that we have from like pastel pop and decor to the max. And I got to use this plant set from Growing Together, which I absolutely love. And I think this little area is such a cute, I kind of saw it as like a Pinterest type area or Instagram area where people would come to take their pictures for Simstagram and go ahead like to say that they'd been to this plant shop. So what I wanted to do is make sure the plant shop was multi-purpose. So I thought it would be fun to add in a little flower arranging room. So I thought maybe my idea was that they would have classes here where they would do flower arranging, but of course your Sims could just come here and try it out, which I just think is cute. And these tables work perfectly for something like a plant shop where you can imagine people would make different flower arrangements and sell them here. But you could, of course, do that if you do play this as a retail store, have one of your Sims own it. That would be a really fun element to make your own bouquets. I've never done that, so I would definitely love to know how it goes if you do end up giving it a try. But we're moving on to another section of this build, and this was just kind of an awkward area, and I wanted this to feel really comfortable, really like cool vibes. So having a little sitting area I just thought would be perfect. And I did get to use the new side tables from Base Game that we just got in the update, and I love them as coffee tables. So was very happy to be able to use them in this build, I have to say. So one thing I wanted to do for this build, which is a little unusual for me when I do retail shops, is I did actually just slot the plants into the slots that the table has. So I didn't actually clutter it up any, and that's just because I wanted to make it easy for you to sell anything in this build. Other than like in this back piece, I did kind of clutter it up a little bit more. But otherwise I kept it pretty minimal, and I just wanted to make that for like ease of gameplay. So definitely let me know what your preference is, because I went back and forth, but I just thought it might be better for actually going into the game and having this as a retail shop. So I, of course, had to use the blooming room shelves for sure in this build. I really wanted to represent a lot of blooming rooms. I used mostly blooming rooms flowers, and these shelves are just so perfect for the vibe I was going for. So I was really happy to have them in game. But you can see I'm just adding in lots of different flowers, and like I said, just slotting them into the spaces that are already there. And I did try to use flowers that are more expensive. So if you are playing this as you owning the retail store, you could actually get a decent return on the flowers. So I tried to stay away from the cheaper flowers. But that actually means we're coming closer to the end of the build. Not quite yet, but I do want to thank you so much for supporting my little channel here on YouTube, and I have some exciting news. I'm actually getting really, really close to being partnered here on YouTube. So I know there's been a lot of you who have been around for a long time, or people who have just found my channel, and I just want to say thank you so much. It is truly like a dream. This is what I have been working for a long time with this channel. So I just wanted to have a little moment to celebrate it. I don't know exactly when it will happen, but it will be soon, which is just so crazy. But otherwise, we are about to finish up this build. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, a great week. Thanks again for watching. Bye.